Wagwan, lads and ladettes, welcome back to the MagnaMario Show. I'm actually going to cover something that's happened recently today, where these two climate activists, just two idiots, they throw soup at a Van Gogh painting. So recently, these two people who look fresh out the library club have thrown a tin of Heinz soup at a famous Van Gogh painting, which is called Sunflowers, which was worth $82 million. Now just watching this, I want you to come up with all the hypocrisies that you can see.
What is worth more, art or life? Is it worth more than food? Worth more than justice? Are you more concerned about the protection of a painting or the protection of our planet and people? The cost of living crisis is part of the cost of oil crisis. Fuel is unaffordable to millions of cold, hungry families. They can't even afford to heat a tin of soup. Meanwhile, crops are failing. Millions of people are dying in monsoons, wildfires and severe drought. We cannot afford new oil and gas. It is going to take everything we know and love.
Now I actually have quite a few things to say about this subject. Number one, which is more of a personal thing to me, is that they probably chose one of the worst paintings to vandalise. If you look at the Sunflowers painting, it's an art focused about nature and the beauty of nature, with it just being 5 sunflowers. It's kind of a terrible choice if your whole point is to be eco-friendly. Second of all is the waste of food. They not only threw 1 tin of soup, but they actually threw 2 because they both wanted to, keep it equal, which seemed a bit stupid to me. If their point was throwing soup at the painting, why don't they just throw 1 tin, which is, half the money and half the waste of food? I see a lot of people saying it's hypocritical to, talk about all this and throw soup. But it's not only that, it's also the waste of the fact that they're using multiple cans of soup, which makes them further hypocritical. The third point I want to go through is the fact that they have dyed hair. It's commonly known that most hair dyes use fossil fuels to keep the hair dye from being less damaging to the user's hair. So if they really have a problem with the use of oil, why are they wearing it as an accessory? It's like if a vegan pulled up in a Canada Goose coat and panther skin boots and looks like a crack whore. Why would you accessorize it if it's really your point of going against it? And number 4, the final thing I want to talk about is the overall oil they probably used to get there. I found an excellent comment on the video. I'll just read through the comment. Wearing shirts that were shipped halfway across the world with oil, in jeans shipped halfway across the world with oil, shoes shipped halfway across the world with oil, all these other things just to attack this painting. And the fact that the painting's in London, this is off script. The thing is in London, so if it's in London, they either live in London, which is a highly expensive area to live, so they'd rather pay extortionate prices to live in London than go to like a food pantry and help them actually be able to get food, so these actual poorer people can eat and survive through winter. Or they travel to London and they paid the prices, or they travelled to London, which further used more oil, and they travelled to get there. Whether it's a car, train, for whatever reason, maybe they're not from that area, they used a plane. They've all travelled. They probably Ubered there, which is ridiculous. Now, from this video and all other aggressive protests that are going on right now, and with people gluing themselves to things, it just shows that people don't actually care about the message. The message to them is nothing. The message is a reason, excuse to do it. It just shows that they want attention, whether it being positive or negative, by vandalising, destroying stuff in public area, which most taxpayers will pay for, or companies pay for. So in life, if you do really have an issue with something, you should either support a fully peaceful protest with no damage, with noise control, so there's no screaming, with an organised area, because these people forget that, if you obscure traffic, you're just blocking cars which are now farting gas into the air, making, the area more toxic. If London wasn't toxic enough, now you have all these cars stuck even more than they already are because some dimwit with a sign, you know, wants to run down the street. You know, it just doesn't make sense. Or you can privately do stuff. Like, I know most cities have a food pantry or a soup kitchen or charities that help the homeless and the people that are in lower income who can't currently afford food. You could always support them. You can bring them canned food. Like, they brought canned food to a museum, which was kind of backwards, but if you bring, you know, canned food to a food pantry, they're actually going to use it for food and feed the people that can't afford to be fed. Or you could do social media. People on social media love to share stuff about, you know, all these bad things that are going on. Just make sure when you're doing that, you look into what it is you're sharing, because if you're sharing something blindly, I've seen it before where there's these companies that take advantage of people that do that. So if you are sharing stuff online, make sure you look into the background of what's going on. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Leave a like and, you know, leave a sub if you're feeling generous, and yeah, see ya.